The FBI had obtained the phone records and even had some private recordings of Kash Patel and Susie Wiles. This is current FBI director and chief of staff. Before they were the FBI director and chief of staff, during all these investigations, during the Jack Smith investigation, all of this was happening, and you had this is a big deal because there really was no justification for this going on.
So what we see here is a new revelation of more spying and subpoenas of records by Jack Smith and the FBI during that investigation into President Trump. Specifically, what we're learning now is that 2 new targets have been revealed, and that is Susie Wiles, the chief of staff for the president, as well as Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. Their phone records were subpoenaed, the toll records, as well as even phone call recording between Susie Wiles and her attorney that the FBI got permission from the attorney to record, but no one informed Susie Wiles. So a lot of questions raised there as well about attorney-client privilege and ethics and things of that nature. Really just a truly shocking move, even that the FBI would seek to record a phone conversation, that they would reach out and say, can we do this to an attorney of someone. It raises a whole host of questions about the shadiness of this FBI. They also put these files in folders marked prohibited and tried to keep them out of the purview.
Physical files, or are we talking about digital files?
It's the way it says is that they were found in files labeled prohibited.
All right,
the way I read that is along with the burn bags that we found.
About opening up a cabinet.
They found a cabinet, found prohibited files, and what is a better way to comply with the record-keeping law as well as not be easy searchable is to print something out, put it in a file, and lock it away in a closet somewhere that hopefully no one will discover your shadiness. However, 10 FBI employees have been fired as a result of this new discovery. Which, I mean, do you blame the director? Like, hey, you were spying on me when I wasn't your boss. I don't know if we have this trust relationship that we can really work together anymore.
If Jack Smith was in charge of this, Jack Smith should be, tapping the president and leaders. This is treason in our country. He should be in jail if he authorized it. He should be in jail.
You can tell that within the FBI, they have not let go what the special counsel did. They already had the hearing. We've seen him publicly make statements. You're talking about here the Congress side of it, where they are trying to conduct oversight. But I feel like the Department of Justice and the FBI themselves are still reviewing everything. Now, sometimes, though, this brings about an opportunity where you need to make reforms, because a lot of these things, which we may think are corrupt, were ridiculous. The way that they utilized the seal for the subpoena of the phone records of sitting U.S. senators may have not been illegal, but it was abused. And so therefore, many times that's what happens in the United States, is that there ought to be a crime.
There ought to be a crime, Will.
But there isn't necessarily an explicit statute that was broken because they gamed the system in order to go after these people. And that's horrific.
There's also news coming out of the potential war with Iran. Of course, that has been something that has been, I don't want to say teased, but it kind of feels that way, teased for the last number of weeks. There is a breaking point that is getting very, very close. There's a final negotiation going on right now.
The talks are underway in Geneva. This is kind of the tail end of the 10-day deadline that they have put in place from President Trump. The negotiators are there. It's Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. And they are expected to present, and this is obviously going on as we are live, but new demands from the U.S. that Iran must dismantle its 3 main nuclear sites, Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, and deliver all of its remaining enriched uranium to the U.S., as well as insisting that this nuclear deal does not have a sunset like the JCPOA. This is a forever deal, if you want to stay where you are.
So this is a big ask. This is not just a small negotiation. This is likely, if you were just look at the terms and the way we know how the rulers in Iran have been, how, sword rattling they've been, even on social media, all those type of things. These kind of asks seem unlikely. Maybe we're at a point where they realize that if they don't do this, they're out of power, and it's going to happen. The people are uprising, and you're going to have the American military on board. What does that look like? And maybe they know they have to make this kind of deal.
I'm a Marine veteran. I served 14 years.
Thank you.
And, absolutely. When the Marine Corps had tanks, I was a tank operator and went on the Marine Expeditionary Unit and went through the Straits of Hormuz. And they were playing games then. They're playing games still. Going to continue to play games. They're going to try to keep pushing the deadline, which President Trump, I absolutely support his thoughts on world peace, because that's what he wants. He wants peace. And yeah, if we can't try everything diplomatically, then we're going to have to do something about it.
At the end of the day, and once again, as Logan said, thank you for your service.
Yeah, I think you speak for a lot of people.
But when genocidal jihadis decide to say things like death to America, you should probably believe them. You think they're telling the truth. And at this point, I feel like President Trump has done it the way that no other president has, of saying, I'm going to give them every opportunity to come clean, to get rid of this program, to keep the American people safe. Not even demanding regime change, but just saying, you can stay there as long as you don't have these nuclear weapons, this ballistic missile program that can really threaten us. I don't really care. And as much as for some of us that really do have deep humanitarian concerns, sometimes that's an abrasive way to go about it.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, he's also committed with this massive flotilla and buildup of troops, showing that if you don't, there are going to be consequences.
When Hitler was killing the Jews, he had no nuclear weapons. The problem with the regime in Iran is the nature of the regime, a regime that kills its protesters and commits, horrible crimes against humanity. We could have obliterated the leadership already. I think Trump is kind of missing the ball. And what if he gets to deal with Iran?
Well, let's see what happens. Appreciate you calling in. Holly, I'm sorry we didn't get to you today. She said she was concerned about the safety of our soldiers on these carriers. I think we all are. That should be something that is in your prayers immediately. It's obviously the safety of these soldiers. Now, these are guys who are very well trained, very well prepared for this kind of action.